The palace of the Aelthari Empire had never been so quiet. Tall crystal walls reflected soft blue light, but no beauty could hide the fear hanging in the air. Servants moved without sound. Royal guards stood stiff, their hands tight on their weapons, afraid to even breathe too loudly. At the center of the palace, behind sealed medical doors, the alien princess lay dying. Her name was Princess Lyrae. She was young, intelligent, and loved by her people. She was the only child of King Valor, ruler of a powerful star empire that controlled dozens of systems. For years, enemies had feared the Aelthari fleet, and allies had respected their advanced science. But none of that mattered now, because no one could save the princess. Lyrae suffered from a rare condition that attacked both her body and her energy core. Something unique to her species. Their best healers had tried everything. Advanced machines scanned her again and again. Alien doctors argued in low voices, changing treatments, increasing power, using forbidden techniques. Nothing worked. Her breathing grew shallow. Her skin, once glowing with soft silver light, was now pale and cold. Each hour, her life slipped further away. King Valor stood outside the medical chamber, his tall frame unmoving. His crown rested heavy on his head, but for the first time in his life, he felt powerless. He had faced wars, rebellions, and galactic threats without fear. But this was something he could not command. A senior healer finally stepped forward and bowed his head. "Your Majesty," the healer said carefully, "we have reached the limits of our knowledge." The words hit harder than any weapon. Valor's hands slowly closed into fists. "How much time does she have?" he asked. The healer hesitated. "Perhaps 1 cycle. Maybe less." The king closed his eyes. For a moment, the ruler of an empire was just a father standing at the edge of loss. "Is there truly nothing else?" Valor asked quietly. The healers exchanged looks. One of them spoke again, uncertainty clear in his voice. "There is one option left, but it is unconventional." Valor opened his eyes. "Speak." "There is a human aboard the station," the healer said. "A doctor." The air changed instantly. "A human?" Valor repeated, his voice hard. Humans were new to the galaxy. They were considered physically weak compared to many species. Their technology was simple. Their lifespan was short. They were useful as traders, engineers, or laborers, but rarely respected. Using a human to treat the royal princess felt almost insulting. "A human doctor has no access to our medical systems," the king said. "What could he possibly do that we cannot?" The healer lowered his gaze. "We do not know. But humans approach medicine differently. Less reliance on machines, more on observation and adaptation." Silence followed. The king looked toward the sealed doors again. Time was running out. "Bring him," Valor said at last. "If he fails, nothing changes. If he succeeds..." He did not finish the sentence. Henry Nyafted. This saying Tom, the human doctor, was brought under guard. His name was Elias Ward. He was not tall, not strong, not impressive to look at. He wore a simple medical coat, worn from years of use. His hands were steady, though his heart was racing. He had been summoned from a small medical bay where he treated injured workers and travelers. When Elias entered the royal wing, he felt the weight of countless alien eyes on him. Some looked angry, others curious, many openly mocking. "This is the human?" a noble whispered. "That fragile thing? He will fail," another said. "This is a waste of time." Elias heard none of it. His focus was locked on the sealed medical chamber ahead. Inside, Princess Lyrae lay unconscious, surrounded by glowing machines and alien symbols Elias barely understood. The readings made little sense to him. But one thing was clear: her body was shutting down. Elias stepped closer, ignoring the guards and nobles watching him. "She is burning up," he said softly, "but her skin feels cold." The alien healers frowned. "Our scanners show conflicting data. That is part of the problem." Elias nodded slowly. "Sometimes the body doesn't follow clean numbers," he said. "Sometimes it fights itself." He asked for access. The healers hesitated, but the king gave a sharp nod. "Do what you can," Valor said. "No one will interfere." Elias took a deep breath and went to work. He used simple tools. He adjusted fluids. He manually checked breathing, pulse, reflexes. He asked questions the alien healers had not considered. He noticed patterns they had missed, not in machines, but in the way Liray's body reacted. "She's not just sick," Elias said, after a long moment. "Her immune system is attacking the energy core because it thinks it's foreign." The healers stared at him. "That is impossible," one said. "It happens in humans," Elias replied calmly. "The body sometimes becomes its own enemy." Working carefully, Elias introduced controlled suppressants, balancing them with natural recovery methods. It was risky, very risky. One mistake could end her life instantly. Sweat ran down his face as hours passed. The machines began to stabilize. A quiet sound filled the room, steady breathing. One of the healers stepped closer, disbelief clear in his posture. "Her vitals are improving." The room froze. Princess Liray's fingers twitched. Color slowly returned to her skin. Elias finally stepped back, exhausted. "She's not safe yet," he said. "But she will live." For several seconds, no one spoke. Then King Valor entered the chamber. He looked at his daughter. He looked at the readings. He looked at the human standing there, barely able to stay upright. "You saved her," the king said, his voice low. Elias shook his head. "Her body did most of the work," he replied. "I just helped it remember how." The king stared at him for a long moment. In that moment, something ancient and powerful settled into place. A life had been saved, a debt had been created, and the galaxy was about to change forever. End of Part 1. The palace did not return to normal after the princess survived. Instead, it became louder. Whispers moved through halls like hidden currents. Nobles gathered in small groups, speaking in sharp tones. Guards doubled their patrols. The royal court, once confident and proud, now felt uneasy. One truth had shaken the empire to its core. A human had saved the princess. Princess Liray remained unconscious for 2 full cycles after the treatment. Machines still surrounded her, but their glow was softer now, calmer. Her breathing stayed steady. Her energy readings no longer fell. King Valor rarely left her side. When he did, it was only to face the growing tension outside the medical chamber. Some nobles bowed deeply when they saw him. Others avoided his gaze. Many demanded answers. "This human must be removed," one elder said during a closed council meeting. "If word spreads, our people will lose faith in our superiority." "Our healers failed," another argued. "That is not the human's fault." "It is worse than failure," a third snapped. "It proves weakness." Valor listened without interruption. His expression stayed calm, but his eyes were sharp. "You speak of pride," he finally said. "I speak of survival." Silence followed. "The human doctor will remain under royal protection," the king continued. "Any harm done to him will be treated as treason." That ended the discussion. Elias Ward did not know any of this. He slept for nearly an entire cycle in a small guest chamber near the medical wing. His body, pushed far beyond its limits, finally collapsed once the danger had passed. When he woke, he felt heavy and sore, but alive. A soft chime sounded as he sat up. A palace attendant entered carefully. "Dr. Ward," she said, bowing slightly. "The princess has awakened." Elias froze. "She's awake?" he asked. "Yes," the attendant replied, "and she has asked to see you." Elias took a slow breath. He had faced injured workers, dying soldiers, and plague victims before. But this felt different. This was a royal princess of a powerful alien empire. Still, he nodded. "Take me to her." The medical chamber felt brighter than before. Natural light filtered in, replacing the harsh glow of machines. Princess Liray sat upright against soft supports. Her silver eyes open and alert. She looked fragile, but alive. When Elias entered, she turned her head toward him. Her gaze locked onto his face, studying him closely. "This is the human," she said quietly. "Yes, Your Highness, a healer replied. Liray raised a hand, signaling the others to leave. Even the guards hesitated, but she insisted. Soon, only she and Elias remained. Elias stood awkwardly, unsure if he should bow. You saved my life, Liray said. I helped, Elias replied honestly. Your body did the rest. She tilted her head slightly. Our healers are brilliant. They failed. You did not. Why? Elias thought for a moment. Because humans expect failure, he said. We plan for it. We watch what the body does when things go wrong. Liray considered this. You were not afraid? I was terrified, Elias admitted. But fear doesn't stop a doctor from trying. A small smile appeared on her lips. Thank you, she said simply. Those two words carried more weight than any reward Elias had ever received. Outside the chamber, King Valor watched through a transparent barrier. He saw his daughter alive, speaking calmly, her strength slowly returning. His chest tightened with relief. When Elias left the room, the king approached him. You are a strange species, Valor said. Elias gave a tired smile. So I've been told. The king studied him. You may ask for anything, Valor said. Wealth, technology, land, a ship. Name it. Elias blinked in surprise. I didn't do it for payment. Even so, Valor replied. A royal debt must be repaid. Elias thought carefully. He imagined advanced tools, endless resources, a life without struggle. Then he shook his head. I don't need any of that, he said. If you truly wish to reward me, let humans practice medicine freely in your space. Let us help where we can. The king stared at him, stunned. You reject personal reward? Valor asked. Yes, Elias replied. Lives matter more. Word of this refusal spread faster than the miracle itself. Some nobles were angered, others confused. Many were unsettled. Humans were not supposed to act like this. They were not supposed to value life above power. Princess Liray recovered quickly after that. Each day, she walked further. Each day, her strength returned. And each day, she asked questions about humans, about Elias, about his world. She learned that humans healed without expecting gratitude, that they treated strangers and enemies alike, that they believed saving one life could change many. It changed her. One evening, as the twin stars set beyond the palace towers, Liray stood beside her father. You owe the human more than gold, she said. I know, Valor replied. He showed us something, she continued. Not weakness, but a different kind of strength. The king looked at his daughter, then out at the vast empire he ruled. Our laws speak of life debts, Valor said slowly. Ancient ones. Liray met his gaze. Then follow them. That night, royal messengers were sent across the empire. A public court would be held. All would witness the repayment of the debt. Elias, unaware of what was coming, stood alone in his chamber, staring out at the stars. He wondered if he would ever see Earth again. He had no idea that his life and humanity's place in the galaxy was about to change forever. The Aelthari Empire had changed forever. Years had passed since Elias Ward saved Princess Liray. The grand halls of the palace, once tense and rigid, now echoed with laughter, debate, and life. Humans had become a presence in the empire. Not just as visitors, but as respected healers, advisors, and symbols of hope. Their ways, simple yet effective, spread like sunlight through dark corners, touching lives the empire had once ignored. Elias walked through the palace corridors as he always did, quietly, without fanfare. His coat was clean but worn, his hands marked by the care of countless patients. Yet every step he took carried weight. He was no longer just a human doctor. He was part of the royal family, bound by law and respect, though he had never asked for it. It was a duty he had embraced, not a reward he had sought. Princess Liray met him in the central garden, her silver hair flowing in the gentle wind. She had grown into a leader beyond her years, wise, fair, and strong. But she always looked at Elias with the same quiet gratitude, as if each day reminded her that life itself had been borrowed from him. "Elias," she said softly, "do you ever think about your world?" He looked at the twin suns sinking into the horizon. "Sometimes," he admitted. "I wonder if Earth remembers me. Or if they even know I'm alive." "You belong here now," Lyrae replied, her voice firm but gentle. "Not because you were chosen, but because you earned it." Elias smiled faintly. "I just did what I had to do." "But what you did," she said, "changed everything." Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of alarm bells ringing across the palace. Guards rushed past them, and the council chamber doors opened with a heavy creak. A messenger arrived, bowing low. "Your Majesty," the young envoy said, "a fleet from the Krythan Alliance approaches. They claim the Althari Empire has favored humans above all else, and they will take action unless we surrender Elias Ward." Elias froze. Lyrae's eyes narrowed. "They want to harm you?" "Yes," he said, his voice calm, despite the tension in his chest. King Valor appeared from the council chamber, his face set in a mask of authority. "This," he said, "is why the law exists. Any harm to a human, bound to the royal family, will be treated as an attack on the throne itself." The Krythan Alliance had underestimated the change that a single human could bring. They believed that humans were weak, short-lived, insignificant, yet they had forgotten one truth. Humans were unpredictable, courageous, and resilient in ways no empire could anticipate. Valor addressed the council and the gathered leaders. "The human Dr. Elias Ward saved my daughter. He saved this empire. To harm him is to declare war not just on one man, but on every principle of life and honor we uphold." The message was clear. The Krythan Alliance would have to think twice before attacking. Humans, once considered weak, now carried the full weight of the Althari Empire's protection. Elias did not take pride in this. He felt the burden of responsibility heavier than ever, yet he also understood the truth of his own humanity. One life, treated with care and courage, could ripple across the galaxy. The ambassadors of other species began to arrive in waves. They came not to negotiate for power, but to learn, to understand, to witness the human methods that had changed an empire. They saw humans treating the sick, the wounded, and even the enemy with equal dedication. They saw compassion as strength, patience as power, and intelligence as unyielding force. Elias trained alien healers, showing them how observation, empathy, and adaptability could achieve what machines and technology could not. Hospitals once reserved for the elite opened to civilians. Starports once closed to outsiders welcomed human teams. Every act of care became a lesson in strength, every saved life a testament to humanity. Princess Lyrae walked beside Elias during one of these training sessions. She watched him teach with patience, correcting mistakes gently, encouraging curiosity, and praising careful observation. Children and young healers crowded around, eyes wide with awe. "Do you ever tire?" she asked him. "I do," Elias replied. "But life doesn't wait for rest. People need help," she smiled. "And you give it without asking for reward. That is what makes you strong." The Empire soon faced a challenge unlike any before. A neighboring star system, long held in check, experienced a catastrophic epidemic. The disease was unknown, aggressive, and deadly. Alien scientists debated and argued, unable to find a solution. Elias was summoned. He arrived with his team, including both human and alien healers trained in his methods. They worked through days and nights, studying patterns, experimenting with treatment, and adjusting constantly. Where alien medicine saw failure, humans saw opportunity. Where machines calculated impossibility, humans observed reality. And slowly, the epidemic was contained. Lives that would have been lost were saved. The neighboring system, once hostile, now owed a debt of gratitude. Humans had proven their worth once more, not through warfare, not through domination, but through skill, patience, and courage. The story of Elias Ward spread across the stars. Tales of the human who saved a princess, changed an empire, and taught the galaxy a new kind of strength became legend. People spoke of him not as an outsider, but as a hero whose courage could not be measured in weapons or fleets, but in lives saved and hope restored. King Valor watched all of this with pride. His daughter had grown into a leader capable of understanding the deepest truths of life and power. The empire had grown wiser, and the human who had been underestimated had become untouchable. One evening, the king and the princess walked together through the palace gardens, stars glittering above them. "You see now," Valor said, "what humans can do. They are not just fragile creatures. They are stronger than any weapon we possess." Lyrae looked at Elias, sitting quietly in the distance with his team, guiding the youngest healers. "He is everything the Empire needed," she said. "And more," Valor replied. "Because he reminds us that strength is measured not in control, but in care, in courage, in humanity." The princess took her father's hand. "And he will never stand alone. The Empire stands with him." In that moment, across the endless stars, the galaxy understood a profound truth. Humans were not merely visitors in the cosmos. They were teachers, protectors, and heroes. They had earned their place not by conquest, but by compassion. Not by fear, but by courage. Elias Ward looked up at the night sky. Unaware of the legend he had become, he simply continued his work, quietly, tirelessly, as he always had. But now, every life he touched carried the weight of hope, the promise of change, and the knowledge that one human had altered the course of an empire, and perhaps the galaxy itself. The stars above shone brighter that night, as if acknowledging that humanity, in its simplest and truest form, had become untouchable. End of Part 4.